Hey, party people. This is OBS, that's Open Broadcast, Open Source, Open Broadcaster Service. This is OBS 0.11.4. I'm mostly shooting this particular tutorial because I noticed a lot of people are having problems with the audio. I'm seeing a lot of questions in other videos basically saying that they have no sound, saying that the video's working fine, they're having problem with the sound. This particular version, and I'm incredibly new to this, so I'm an expert by no means. I downloaded this particular software. It took me a couple hours to get it working. I'm just basically going over a few things that I found with the software. And I'm shooting a tutorial because I noticed that these guys update the software incredibly fast, and these videos are becoming outdated incredibly fast. And by the time I'm uploading this, they'll probably have a new version out, and this video might not even work. The tutorial that I found that was most helpful was about 2 months old. Since then, it has been updated twice. It seems like they probably just updated the interface, the way that you see the screen, the way they organize things, probably within the last few months, I'm guessing. Just basically in watching tutorials on slightly older versions. Um, Based on what I've saw, if you're running an older version, there's no real reason to update to a newer version. It's just kind of they've moved some stuff around, and that's about it. Moving on to the sound. And then there's tons and tons of tutorials. If you have other questions, you can check out the other tutorials, or you can post in the comments and I'll get to them. So basically, you'd think most of your work is done between scenes and sources here. With scenes, you can kind of think of these as different tasks. So you have two different projects that you have going on. See, mine's labeled Minecraft in game. I don't have any intention of running the webcam while I'm in game. I just threw that up here just to show that it's possible and that it can be done. Currently, I'm not running my microphone through my webcam, so I had to hook up the second microphone, which I'll go over all that in a quick second here. So like if you're running a second instance or second project in here, say you're doing some podcasting where you want to have a certain set of your certain settings set up that you don't want to be messing with them all the time. Nobody's talking to you. And then you want to have your game where you want to have your two different configurations set up, but you don't want to be tweaking them back and forth. That's all done in scenes here. And then you can see my sources where I have display captures where I'm capturing my desktop. That's everything you see here. And then video capture. This is my webcam that you see here. Quick feature with this one, you can move this around. Oh, I don't want to delete it while I'm shooting, but with these arrows here, so you can deprioritize and prioritize it so I can move it up and down. Anyways, on with the sound. So normally you'd think you can go in here, audio input capture. That sounds promising. Let's capture an input. You go in here. This just gives you a chance to name your input. You can name this option, say microphone, something, blah, doesn't matter. Go in here, find your microphone. That's it. That's my microphone right there. Let's select it. Now all of a sudden it sounds like there's two of me. That's because I have another instance of this running somewhere, and that's what I had to find initially. We're going to kill that because we don't need it. We're going to go up into settings and audio. That's what we're messing with today. 48 kilohertz. I'm not a rocket surgeon, but 48 kilohertz doesn't really sound like that much more than 44 kilohertz. Probably not going to be that much more taxing to your system, so we're going to go with 44. I can imagine the difference between 22 and 44 is probably going to be fairly substantial. I don't know, because I don't really know that much about the sound, but that sounds like a pretty big difference since it's half of 44. So I'm going to run 48 because it sounds better. Stereo, if you're just doing audio tutorials like this, you can run mono. I am technically capturing my desktop as well, so if somewhere you're on Facebook messaging me right now, you would probably hear all the boops and tones, which they're not, and they probably aren't. Forever Alone meme. So we're going to leave this on stereo. Desktop audio device. This is what's capturing your sound from your desktop. You can leave that on default. It will look for your speakers and it will look for your headphones and it will just play whatever's coming through your speakers or headphones. You can turn it off entirely if you want, but just leave it default because it'll look for your audio. I don't know what a desktop audio device 2 is. I don't know what constitutes a desktop audio device 2, so I'm going to leave that disabled. Mic auxiliary audio device. This is what we're looking for. This is the money right here. That's, you find your microphone, you select it. That turns on your initial instance of the microphone. So you will never have to mess around with that in your scenes and sources. That's your microphone. They give you 2 more options for that. Probably if you're running a podcast, you can run microphone 2 and microphone 3. And then your desktop audio here, that's the stuff that's capturing your background or your desktop or whatever's coming through your speakers at a time. You can create toggle switches for it, and you can assign a mouse key for it. So this gives you the option to hit a button to make it be quiet. So if you have it running full time, you have some music playing or something on Spotify, but you want to have a quiet button where you can hit the button and talk and be heard, you can select that option. Same with push to talk, where if like you're probably not going to be talking or you don't want to be heard speaking most of the time, you can hit a button where it'll basically operate like a walkie-talkie. And then they give you these delay buttons. That's basically like you can hear the keystroke. It's to delay that. If you delay it like a quarter of a second, you'll miss most of that keystroke. So you'll be missing that thud, thud, thud from all the keystrokes. Especially if you have like a condenser mic that picks up a lot of background noises and vibrations in the room. Mic aux, same function. That's to control your microphone. You can turn your microphone off and on, create a toggle switch for that. Your video capture device, I think that's for your webcam. I've never messed with it. I'm assuming they just put it here because they didn't have room for it or have a place for it where it makes sense in the video functions. I'm guessing that just turns your webcam off and on, where if I don't know, you have a hand gesture that somebody really needs to see, then you could probably mess with that there, and that will turn your webcam off and on. Again, I don't know. That's just a guess. But this is your main function here, the mic auxiliary audio device. You need to select that. Put your mic in that option there, and then you basically don't have to mess with this stuff down here in terms of capturing your sound. Another thing that I was noticing is when you try to capture in a higher quality format, let's go over to the settings. So that's basically how you get it plugged in. We're going into troubleshooting now, some of the weird things that I ran into. Output, this is just your recording process. It's under recordings. See, I'm capturing this in MP4, fairly high quality. They have another option in there for FLV, which is I don't know, maybe it has like a low compression rate, but a lot of the like super high-end video that I see, like people's, $5,000 DSLR cameras, and the video I see a lot of footage coming in FLV format. Super high quality stuff. Windows Media Player cannot open it, but I've noticed that sometimes when I hit the save button, it gets saved as an AVI file, and I don't know why it does that when I chose FLV. I'm not sure what the relationship between the two file types are, but the AVI file can be opened up in Windows Media Player. But for whatever reason, it doesn't play the audio. So I'm sitting there listening to the video and there's no audio. It doesn't mean it's not there. It's just that Windows Media Player won't open it. So then I go over to Kodi or some piece of software that's capable of running those files, and that audio is there. You just can't hear it when you're listening for it. So that was part of the troubleshooting that I was running into, is certain programs are able to open the files but not play the whole thing. I don't know what that's all about, but that's another problem that I was having, is just certain programs weren't able to open up the file types that I was trying to record into. So this one's recording as an MP4, and I'm noticing the same problem with Windows Media Player opening these MP4s. It is playing the video, but it won't play the sound. I open it up in Kodi, it works just fine. So maybe part of your problem is that you're opening it up with a different software, and that could have something to do with the lack of audio. And that's about it. You don't need to mess with your audio in here. Just go open it up in your settings. That was the magic option there that took me quite a while to find, and I think that's what a lot of people are missing. Any other questions? Post in the comments. Stop recording. Stop recording.